Here on the Check a Pro radio show, we get questions all the time. One has crossed my desk this week. Why is my water bill so high? Well, because it has to do with water. I've asked a plumbing professional. He's a plumbing expert here on the Check a Pro radio show, Bob Muller from Personal Plumbing, to join me today. Hey, Bob, how you doing?
Doing great, Joe. Thanks for having me.
It's great to have you here. We hear this a lot. Why all of a sudden as my water bill shot up? And before you get into the plumbing options, it's possible that your rate went up from your local supplier of water. So check your water bill to see if you're paying the same rate per gallon. That probably isn't it, though. It's probably on the consumption side. And if you haven't added another family to your home, there may be a leak. Bob, what do you think?
Yeah, no, these are all definite possibilities. We usually start out with what we call just a basic leak detection so that we can kind of get an idea of what type of leak you have. And through a series of pressure tests, we can usually determine pretty quickly whether it's something that's related from maybe just a toilet that's running from a bad flapper, or maybe it's your irrigation system that's not shutting off properly. Or maybe it's a more significant problem. You've got water lines under your slab and it's leaking under your slab and you just don't hear it or see it, but you're getting an expensive water bill. So we have a series of ways that we conduct this type of service, starting with our basic leak detection and determining whether we need to go into what we call our advanced leak detection services. So yes, we can find those leaks pretty quickly that way.
It's really, really important. And that is a good indication. Meaning, when you look at your water bill, if you've seen a big difference, then something may be up. And it's more than just the loss of the water. First of all, we want to conserve water. Number two, we want to conserve money. Number three, though, if you have a leak underneath your slab, you may want to conserve your house.
Yes.
I'm kind of joking, but not really, because it could be a catastrophe if you have a slab foundation and it's wet under there, and you'd be surprised how many gallons can leak a day. We're talking a lot. Your structure will shift. And I'm not saying it's going to be like falling off the cliffs that we see when here in California we have these problems with rain and so forth, and these landslides. But you don't need it to move much, because if your foundation moves, the whole house can be compromised.
Yes, and this is where it leads to the cracks in your foundation, which can cost a lot of structural damage, as well as, lose the sale of your home. If your home has structural damage to it, you usually can't get that house sold. So you want to make sure that you're proactive on these things. You do not want your plumbing leaking under your slab. We have many different ways to detect this, as well as we do have other types of products out there that we can install in your home that can detect the leak early for you. So it can actually detect whether you have a leak inside your house and automatically shut the water off to your house if it does determine you do have a leak. So we can install devices called our leak detection devices that also will save you on your insurance rates. So most companies will give you lower insurance rates if you have these devices installed. And we do install these devices for our homeowners.
Hey, Bob, this has been a great conversation. Great advice for our listeners here. Bob Muller, Personal Plumbing. All of his contact information is located in the description of this podcast. Thanks, Bob.
Thanks, Joe.